Hey guys, what's up? It's Looney TNT. So today we're going to have an old-fashioned just talking about a bunch of stuff, having some fun in the video. Might be a little bit longer video, might be a shorter video, who knows. But if you guys are into that, stay tuned. If you're not into that and that kind of bores you, feel free to check out another video or, scour the YouTube and I'm sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. Alright, so before we get into all of that, let me show you guys some stuff that I've been doing. My cash stack that I have currently on me is 33 mil. I think I have a cash stack that's a little over 80 mil in the bank right now. So the cash stack overall is doing fairly well. I'm just grinding out some divination, wishing I was 95, but every time I start to grind divination, I just don't have a lot of time. Unfortunately, we had to do some stuff this week that that I didn't want to do, but for sakes of getting things done, I had to do it. So fortunately, I haven't had a lot of time to train some divination, but it is Sunday and I have a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and have some fun. So let's go ahead and start off with the topic of what is the rarest item in RuneScape. Now, there's been some videos. I think a friend did a video about it and that little toy boat and stuff. But come on. Who cares about a little toy boat, right? It might be the rarest item in the game, but we don't need no little toy boat, okay? What we want is we want value. We want GP, right? We want the bills. We want the rarest item in game that is tradable. I don't think people care about the non-tradable items. And why I say that is because I have a Scythe, I have a Yo-Yo. Those things are very rare in RS3, and nobody really cares about those too much. There are people that wish they had them. One of my friends has the bunny ears. Those are super, super rare. But nobody cares about those. They really can care less about those. You hardly ever see a pair of bunny ears running around, and when you do, it is a player that has been on for a very, very long time, because that's the only way you can achieve it, is if you played this game for a very, very, very long time. But not a lot of people care about those items. Like I said, a lot of people care about the items that are tradable that are very, very expensive. Now, how rare are party hats? When you start looking at them, a lot of people have them. They are very highly valued, but when you see them, a lot of people are wearing them, and maybe just because they want to wear them because they are so rare. But an item that I don't see very much of are like discs of returning. Those I don't see very much of at all. And those were a little bit difficult to actually achieve. Those items, how'd you get those? I've never had this happen. I've never actually been able to do it, but I've heard stories of people doing it. What happens is, if you get banned, you go into this little area, and people can come visit you, but they have to have a disc of returning to go back up to the surface or to go into it or whatever, so you bought it there. And they discontinued that, right? And all of a sudden the disc of returning was, a lot of money. I don't see very many of those. When you look at like Easter eggs or pumpkins and things like that, and even the disc of returning, obviously you're not going to see those a lot because the only way you're going to see them is if it's opened up in trade. So do those rares even really matter? When you look at a pumpkin, does a pumpkin matter at all? It was rare, right? But it is a rare item, but you can't physically see someone running around with a pumpkin. They can only put it up in trade so you can see it. So it might be a rare item, but does it really do anything? It is rare. But who cares about a pumpkin and an Easter egg? A lot of people don't care about those items. Disc of returnings, half jugs of wine, and so on. Items that you can't physically see are kind of just, whatever. And then you look at items such as like the black Santa hat. Why is a black Santa hat more expensive than a regular Santa hat? I don't understand that. Now, It was rarer to get, I guess, because everybody had access to a Santa hat back in the day, so everybody could achieve one. And a black Santa hat, there was some things that you had to do to achieve it, and not everybody got to do it. Same thing, I believe, with the Christmas scythe and the Cloak of Seasons, and Cloak of Seasons is actually rising pretty good. Now, the reason I think the Cloak of Seasons is rising fairly good is the simple fact that it's still the only rare cape, right? It's not like we have tons of different capes that are actually rare items. So when you see someone with, a Cloak of Seasons, or whatever it was called, I could be mistaken, and a party hat, and a Christmas scythe, that's value. That shows someone's value, and a lot of people like to show their value like that. Because when you see someone walking around with a party hat, you automatically think they're rich, and obviously the street value is through the roof, right? Like my green party hat is worth, I believe, 2.7 bill right now, so it's almost up to 3 bill, which is absolutely insane for an item that you cannot use for anything else other than making yourself look cool. And what I mean by that is it's kind of like a Lamborghini, right? An amazing car. I'd love to have one. But it's not something that you're going to be driving around every day. It's not something that is very comfortable to drive around. It's a thing that shows wealth, and that shows that, hey, check it out. This is a cool car to have. I have a lot of money and I don't know what to do with it, so I bought a Lamborghini, right? It's pretty much something like that. Same thing with a party hat. Now, a party hat for me, it was more of an investment than anything. I bought it for 2.2, and I understood the prices were going to go up. And now the prices are 2.7, like I said a little bit ago. So it was an investment for me. But a lot of these items, these rare items, should have no value at all when you really think about it, right? These items are worthless. They do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You look at a Noxic staff or a Noxic scythe, right? These items should be way more valued than a party hat, because a party hat is just a little piece of paper-ish that they was on the game and they made it into a little hat. Maybe it's made out of gold. Who knows, right? Maybe it's some rare minerals that they forged together. Who knows? Who knows what the story could be? But when you think about it, it just doesn't make sense that these items aren't more expensive than a piece of paper. But they are epic, right? They're epic. When you see someone trade a Christmas cracker or something, it's an item that it's like you just don't see those every day. And you're like, man, that is sick. It doesn't have any stats. It doesn't do anything. But it's like, man, that is old school. That is RuneScape, right? And when you look at like old school RuneScape, for example, when you see all these rares everywhere, it just doesn't mean the same to me. And the reason it doesn't mean the same is just you had to be an old school player to keep those into the game. You needed to keep those in the game. And the players that have stuck around and that are still playing the game kept those around. It's the players that keep those rare items rare, right? They could completely go extinct. How many players do you know that have quit the game? If they quit the game with a party hat, well, there's another party hat gone from the game. If they quit the game with a Santa hat, there's the Santa hat gone, right? People that high elk this stuff just for lulz, There's only so many, and I wish we actually had I wish Jagex would release something that says how many items are in the game. Like, there's X amount of blue party hats, there's X amount of purple, X amount of white, X amount of Noxic staffs, right? Because that number would change all the time because they're coming in, and also people will dismantle them. People will do stuff like that, and even if it's a 200 mil item, people will still do that for the lulz. So I'd love to see the stats on actually how many items are in the game. There's a way they could do it. It's probably pretty pretty technical, but I'm sure they could find a way to do that so people can actually see, you know, where the rares are and what is actually the rarest item. Other than items that are non-tradable, you know what I mean? Because there are some very rare items that are non-tradable that you got from some quest or something, that you could do this and that, and, you know, it just kind of is what it is. Alright, guys. Hopefully you guys weren't too bored in this 10-minute rare discussion. It was just kind of a fun thing that I was thinking about, and I wanted to make it into a video. So, there was a lot of pauses and stuff in the video. You probably didn't notice too much. You probably heard the clicks. I just have a cold and stuff, so I didn't want to sneeze or anything in the vid. So anytime that happened, I apologize. Alright, guys. Like, favorite, subscribe, and share. Do what you guys gotta do. And like always, anything goes good with the Dragon Med, the rarest item in game.